Bert Kreischer released a movie called The Machine that is based on the story that he made on his comedy special. And if you like Bert Kreischer's comedy style, then you'll definitely will love this movie. I really like this movie. This movie was something that I really enjoy based on the comedy because it just gives you that good old classic, over the top, campy, weird comedy movies that you pretty much don't really get to see. Because the last time I were able to get something that was very wild and that was a comedy movie was The Hangover. But now with Bert Kreischer's The Machine, this really did fit the bill because I was laughing throughout the whole time, and the movie's like an hour and 52 minutes. This movie does has its flaws, but it has a lot of huge positives. So the whole premise of this movie is about the story that Bert said in his comedy special, how he was the machine in Russia while he was in college and partying with a whole bunch of Russian mob, and how he actually stole the a guy's watch. But now the guy, he actually sees Bert's special, and now he wants his revenge, and he sends his kids to go after Bert to kidnap him and send him back to Russia to retrieve that watch. And if he doesn't find a watch, Bert, his dad who tag along, and his daughter will actually get killed. And this movie starring Bert Kreischer and Mark Hamill, these two actors work together. Actually, the whole cast actually works very well. And you can just tell that everyone was in key on like knowing the assignment of this movie. They know this was a comedy movie. They know that it was meant to be funny, and they just went with it. And you could just tell when an actors or actress are enjoying the product, the movie is 10 times better, and you can just sense it throughout the whole movie. The chemistry of Bert and Mark work very well because Mark is playing as Bert's dad, and he plays the dad really well because he's a dad that's kind of like disappointed at Bert for how his past is, but then he also is proud of Bert with the success that he's able to do, and he's trying to help guide him even through his mishaps. But also as well, he's also a caring father because he wants to be there for his son. And the bickering between Bert and Mark, it just feels very real, and it feels like a dad and son like relationship actually like blossom, and it's actually very looks very realistic, and they just bounce off of each other really well. And I just really like the chemistry between those two. And the best part about this movie is that we get a lot of them. We get a lot of screen time with them together, and like just how it works well is just very, very much of a big blast. Now, the actress Iva, who plays as the Russian daughter who actually brings Bert to Russia, she plays her role fantastic. I really enjoyed her character because her character, how she started off from the film, how she was just like no nonsense, and she just pretty much just wants her father's watch so that way she can take over the her father's business as being like the head lady of being like the mob. But the issue is that no one's not really taking her seriously because she is a woman. But she showcased that she's able enough to handle things on her own, and she take things seriously. And a lot of funny things is about it was that the people like her brothers didn't really take her seriously because they were just like, oh, the way how you doing it is not really that well. But in actuality, it's like it really did work well in her favor because she kind of just showcased like, yeah, like even though she wants to go ahead and kill Bert for what she has done to her father, she actually does care for Bert. And you can see throughout the whole journey of them how they kind of like bonded throughout the whole film, because instead of her being like kind of like cold and kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to put a bullet in your head, you just see how like close they got with their friendship and their bond. But throughout this whole film is literally just about Bert, how he is just going back from the past. And the guy who plays young Bert, he did a fantastic job because one, he actually looks like Bert, but he also played the role right, and he like actually embody him because you actually feel like yo, this guy is Bert. Because the whole time I was watching this film, I was like, yo, this actor Jimmy is actually feels like he's actually Bert Crusher. I know I butchered his name, but he actually embodies that character, like the young version of him. And he did a fantastic job with that. The best part about this movie is that we see throughout the whole journey, Bert is actually trying to change his life because he did a huge mess up on his daughters and his relationship with his older daughter. And you can just see Bert, how he just changed and how he's just like, I'm sober. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to do like any alcohol or anything else. And he's just trying to change. We even see in an opening scene where he's in therapy and he brought his family and they're just like, why are we here? Like, you're not supposed to tell us that you're changing. Like, we're supposed to see the growth. And then like you just see how Bert's kind of bickering with his family and everything else, but he's also trying his hardest to actually change. And you just see how his relationship with him and his daughter is just like in shambles because of his messed up. And one of the negatives I can say about this film was that the fact that we didn't really get a subplot on how we see the daughter, how she was in her like her own trip and how she's trying to reflect on her father from actually trying to change. Because like towards the end of the movie, we kind of see her kind of like reconcile with her dad, but it was just kind of like very, very off because she just goes on ahead and like hug him and stuff. And, you know, we don't really see that development there. But other than that, it's this whole movie is just an adventure, and that we see that Bert, how every time he's trying to get this watch and he's going to like this craziness, weirdness of him getting shot or try to like survive from like the Russian mob because they're all after him. Like just seeing how he's just trying to remember what he did while he's in college and realize like how much of a douchebag that he is. Like it just sees it's a very great way to see how he's reflecting from his life and how much he wants to change and how much he did change and how much he actually feels sorry for all the bad things that he has done. And then this movie knows that it's over the top. So there's one scene where Bert actually get a bottle of vodka and he's drinking it like Popeyes and he's getting powerful where he takes off his shirt and he start beating up bad guys. Like this movie was just very, very weird and it was just very, very funny. Like I said, this is an action comedy movie. I really do enjoy it. If you want to actually go to a movie theaters and get a good laugh, I would suggest that you guys should watch this. You guys should watch this with your boys. You guys should watch it with like someone who like actually enjoy like this kind of comedy, because if you watch the trailer you kind of know what kind of comedy it is. Now that there are some jokes that are stupid and there are some jokes that are very silly, but it kind of really does work for me. This movie kind of fits more into like Adult Swim humor. Yes, like Adult Swim humor. And yeah, that's just how it feels. Like that's just how like the humor that it fits with this movie. But this movie is probably going to be one of my top 10 of films of year of 2023 because I really just enjoyed this movie, because this movie is set up as being a comedy, and this is how I just felt. I was entertained, I laughed, and I was just pretty much very well entertained. And this movie is a solid movie. I would suggest that you guys should watch it. I give this movie a pretty much an 8 out of 10. Yeah, there were just certain scenes that just didn't go well with me, and there were certain concepts that didn't really go well with me. But the movie is very straightforward, and you'll just have a blast for the hour and 53 minutes, just pretty much a 2 hour movie. So, but either way, you guys should check it out. If you guys are planning on checking it out, let me know down in the comment section. If you guys already saw the movie, let me know down in the comment section and how you guys feel about it. But other than that, if you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is Mr. Monotone, and hope you guys have a wonderful day and be safe out here. Peace.